guys, welcome to the channel. Thanks so much for coming by again. Today we're going to do a tutorial on merging two designs in Sew What Pro. Sorry guys, ignore the hair. I took a shower last night and didn't blow dry my hair before I went to bed, so it's like all sorts of crazy. But anyways, so this is how to merge two designs. For example, a number and a character, so you can make like a happy birthday, like you know how people will get, the one we're going to do is Mulan, so let me use that as an example. The number 2 and then the Mulan character file to make it a birthday number. So that's what we're going to be doing. I hope you learn a lot, and thank you so much for coming by. As always, I greatly appreciate it. If you haven't already, click subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and leave a comment. Thanks so much, guys. I hope you have a great day. Bye. Okay, we are going to do another tutorial on Sew It Pro. So we're going to go ahead and go here. Let's go ahead and open it up. This tutorial is going to be on merging designs. We are going to take two separate designs and create one. So one thing I'm going to show you how to do is erase the understitch, like for the, essentially we're going to take a number and put another character, if you will, on it. So when you do the number, it's like for a birthday. So say we're going to do Mulan. Say somebody wants a second birthday with Mulan. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to show you how to do all of this, and hopefully it'll teach you how to do it too, because it's actually kind of fun, in all honesty, to kind of make your own. So for this one, you're going to have to download two files. One is a number based, and number 2 is whatever character you want to put it in, or put on it. Okay, so let's go to File, and we're going to go to Open. All of my stuff is on the desktop because it's just easier for me. And ignore Mulan numbers and Mulan head, because that's what I call it, because Mulan, it's literally just her head to her like elbows. So we're going to open up number 5 because that's the number I'm on. And what I do is I go ahead and open a 5x7 because my hoop is a 5x7 that I'm going to be using. So I like to squish it all in and make it fit in a 5x7. So I'm going to tell it right now which hoop I want to use. And then we're going to go from here. I forgot I took the grid lines out. Okay, so this is what it should look like at this point. It's just a number. And you see how this is all blank in here? This is an applique number. This is very important. Don't get something that's solid. You want something that you can put, you know, fabric in here, make it pretty. And obviously this is too big, right? But we're going to shrink it later. So I like it big right here because it's going to be much easier to edit. So what I normally do is I go to I go to merge at this point. This is where we're going to merge, obviously, your character in. So I go to the desktop, we're doing Mulan. My files are PES, and I go ahead and do, each one's going to be different. This one is just mine. So we're going to go ahead and do Mulan. And what you want to do is get them on a grid. You know, use that line. That's what that line's there for. So you want to line them up on the bottom the same. And so we're going to go to the number 5. And what I try to do on different numbers, I try to avoid all of this in here. And by that I mean, if you put this here, you're going to have to erase here, 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 and here, and here, and here, and here. So you don't want to do that. That's a hot mess. So I usually send them out to where I only have 1 or 2 places. So on this one, you see, we'll have to do it here and here. And then we can use the big eraser to erase all of this in red. Now, I highly suggest that you put your number in red for this because it's so much easier to see. So once you get it where you want her, I personally think she's a little too big. So I'm going to go in, make sure she's highlighted and not your 5 and not your whole thing like that. Okay. So make sure just your character is selected, and you're going to go down to resize pattern And this is just what I've done through the whole thing. I do 95%. Shrinks it just a little bit, but not a whole lot. Go ahead at that point and bring it down so it's even with the number. Make sure it's right where you want it, which is, I'm avoiding all of this and all of this. So I just have it here and here, okay? So what we're gonna do then is I'm gonna put this towards the middle. Now don't freak out because we're moving it, so we can always snap it back later. I like it in the middle. It's easier for me to see when I blow it up. See, we're gonna blow it up really big. And we're gonna go to Edit, Split Pattern. Now what this is gonna do, it's gonna separate your number 5 from Mulan. And we're gonna erase the number 5 everywhere Mulan is. So we are going to blow this way, way up, as high as you can do it. So 1000% is as high as you can. But do you see what we're going to be doing here? We're going to be erasing these red ones right here, not the black ones, because the black one is going to overlay. And if you have a satin stitch like this, you do not want to try to lay another satin stitch on top of one. It's a hot mess. Your needle has a hard time going through it. You're putting a lot of stress on your machine. It's just not good. And then you're going to have a huge bump right here where they both meet. So I always blow it up to 1000. You don't have to unless you want to. I just like seeing exactly where it is. So we're going to go here. So this is our split stitch. So what I do is I select color, and I'm going to select the satin stitch for this one. This is what goes around and makes that really pretty stitch. So do you see how everything else went kind of gray? This is why it's really good to have red or black, like really make it stand out so you can see what you're doing. And you see these grid lines here? To me, they just get in the way. I don't like it. So what I do is I go to View and I remove the grid lines. And now we're gonna click on the eraser, and I use the next to largest, because if you use the largest, you don't have very much control over it. Sorry, I'm gonna get a little close so I can see better. Okay, so we're just gonna go in and erase where they meet, where they cover each other. And we're only erasing the red. I know it looks like we're erasing the gray too, but we're not. So once I make that initial cut right here, I go in with the bigger one. I just like the smaller one because it gives me more control over where I'm going to erase it. And I come out a little bit because I'm going to shrink it up and use the really big eraser. Well, it's the same eraser, but when you shrink it up, the red line becomes much smaller and it just flies through it. So if you're going to do that too, make sure that this is all the red is gone. Okay. So then I go back and I shrink it a little bit. Sometimes I come down here because it does it by the 100, whereas using your mouse only does it by 10. So I'm just going to come down until I can see right where they meet again, right where it overlaps again. So, and then I'm going to blow it up again to 1000 so I can see really well. 920, 1000, and I just bring it into the screen so I can see it really well. All right, now we're going to go ahead and select that one again. That's just me. If you can control it with the big one, more power to you. So you're just going to go in, and there you go. Make it clear. Make a clear cut. I bring the big one out. See that little piece of red right there? We want to get rid of all of that. This little piece right here. I usually go out to about here. And I don't know if it's my computer. This is actually a brand new laptop, so it might not be. But you kind of have to go a little slow. If you go fast, see, it doesn't get it all. If you go slower, it really does erase it very, very well. So like on the top we just did, you want to make sure you get rid of all that white and red. Go ahead and scoot it back out. See the gap here and the gap here? You see how much bigger it is now? You can just go in and whoop. See what I mean about going too fast and leaving the red and white behind? So you really, I'm doing this a little sloppier than I normally do so I can show you guys. Make sure all the red is gone, because if not, it's going to lay down a stitch there, and you do not want that. So what I do, take it the right way, I just go in a little bit and take a looky-loo, make sure it's all erased. All right, that looks good. All right, so at this point, you want to bring it back to a normal size. Hit close right here, and then it's going to ask you, do you wish to perform pending erasures before closing? The answer is yes, because if not, all that work you just did is gone down the toilet. Highlight both. You want to make sure you highlight both designs, because right now they are not stuck together. They are still two separate designs. So highlight both of them, and then I come up here and hit this little red, it's like 4 squares. If you leave your mouse on it, it'll tell you center pattern and hoop. Click on it, whew, goes right back. The next thing I do is I go down to grid lines off of view. So view, grid lines, because I want to see them again so I can make sure that everything I do is centered, even though it tells you this. We're going to shrink it down, and that's going to make it become uncentered again. Off center, not in the center, however you're supposed to say it. So as you can see, it's too big. If you come over here, it'll tell you. Remember, your hoop is only a 5x7, so it's 598 by 582. So what you're going to do is you're going to highlight both of them again. Make sure the whole thing is highlighted. You're going to go up to Tools, and this time we're going to resize the pattern one more time. I look over here, it's 598. It's got to go down to 5.0. So I take it slow. I don't automatically go down. I just like to take it a little bit slower and see how it goes. So we look up here, it's still 537. So we're going to come back up to resize pattern. Ooh, 483. That's a little too small. So I'm going to do undo, and I did 90. So I'm going to come in and do 95 and see where that puts us. We're here, we're still at 5.1. We need to be at 5.0 at the highest. Go over to Tools, resize pattern. This time I'm going to do 98%. 498, guys. There we go, we're under 5. I don't normally like to do this, okay? This is against what I like to do, but it's too small for me. I don't like the way it looks. It's the right size width-wise, but I don't like the way it looks length. So what I'll do is I'll come just a little bit, guys, not a whole lot, because you don't want to distort it. You can see how it distorted, okay? See? That's the way it used to look. It's the way it looks now. I'm okay with the way it looks now, and I'll go in and adjust the density of the stitches when I make the actual design. What I mean by that is when I go in and take this combined pattern, because when we save it, it's going to squish them together and you're not going to have to worry about it ever again. But when I take this design that's done and I put a name underneath it, that's what I mean by editing. And then at that point, I will make the stitches a little thicker. So we're going to go to Save As. This is what I call Mulan numbers. You see, the only thing I've done is a number 1. I couldn't remember if I'd done the 2 or not. So I went ahead and did a 5. And we're just going to save it. And then at that point, you can see that it's all set. And I just close out of it. And that's it. Easy peasy. Pretty sure I talked too fast, went too fast. Feel free to rewind just like we did the other one. Thanks, guys, so much for coming by. I really appreciate it. Talk to you guys later. Bye. So that's it. I hope it was easy to follow. I hope I talked loud enough this time for the tutorial. Last time I didn't. And I hope you guys learned something. I hope you were able to follow. If you were able to follow, or if you have any more comments, leave them below. If you have a different way of doing it, please put it below so I can learn some more. If you have any questions or anything, just let me know. Hope you guys have a wonderful Tuesday afternoon, and I will talk to you later. Bye, guys. Woohoo!